Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this podcast series, Authentic and Soul Embodiment Living. I'm with Karine Labrosse today, and we're going to be diving in the topic of Are you being tested by life as you're birthing new creations? Let's take a deep breath on this juicy topic as creators. Karine, hi. Welcome again.
Hi. Yes, a deep breath is much needed when we are tested, especially
And we're
then.
Yes, and we're both like feeling the fire of the soul pushing us into birthing new creations and bringing new paradigms here on earth. And we are going through the process that we're going to be sharing, and it's never really ending per se. It's something that we beyond accepting. It's something that we choose. It's part of the process.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can talk about how you're feeling about this creative process and where are you being tested?
Okay, I mean, yes, I'm definitely being tested, but it does not come without joy and without pleasure. And this is what I want to be insisting on today is how to bring the joy and the pleasure as we are being tested. There's nothing wrong per se. It happens. So as we are being tapped by creation, by God, we have visions, we have a calling. It holds a different frequency than what our body carries right now. It holds a more elevated frequency. Let's put it like this. That chooses, like a soul decides to be in the form of a baby, but now it's an essence, it's a spirit with a different frequency wanting to birth through you as a creator into form to serve the world. So I'm going through this process lately of being more assertive in holding temple work here in Costa Rica, which is more face-to-face work. It's not online, which was a prayer of mine to come back to more face-to-face containers. And this is one version, a collaborative version that was also a calling. And as we're birthing these deep ways of templing, of bringing back these ancient ways of activating the body temple and our body technology, life obviously tests us um, and asks us, do you really want to be holding this work? Or is it only a fantasy? Is it only for status and validation? Because creation has nothing to do with status and validation. Creation is like when you're a mother, it's not about the status of being a mother. It's actually the essence of being a mother. So what is the essence of being a creator? It is to tap into what creation wants for humanity. What creation wants for humanity through a baby. Therefore, as a mother, how can we get out of the way and create enough space so that the baby evolves organically based on his or her codes or their code? And same with a container or a program or service that you have. And let's stay with these two examples. It's the same with everything in life, but let's stay with the example of a container. So I am being tested of holding the work, and I am also being touched by the codes of this work. Meaning, if a container, for example, holds very deep, sacred, ancient sisterhood codes, well, in my life, I'm going to be challenged with these codes. I'm going to be challenged to look at my life and see where am I in alignment with these deep sacred codes? Where am I not in alignment with these deep sacred codes? And I'm going to be asked to evolve and to embody, incarnate these codes before being a transmission for it. So most of the time we say we attract, the children attract the parents they need, and we attract as parents the children we need. Why? Because they actually hold keys for our evolution and vice versa. But the essence, the frequency that they bring are here to actually challenge us into becoming more of who we are to be as vessels of God, as divine vessels. So I'm not going to go too much into the details of what I'm birthing, but it's to give an example that I am birthing these old ancient tables here with sisters in collaboration, and it's asking all of us to step into a new level of leadership, to step into a new level of standards, to really, really embody what it means to be collaborative sisters, what it means to hold this deep, sacred, ancient sexual healing for people, whether it's for men, for women, for couples, what it means beyond the projections of the mind and the taboos and the projections of society on this type of work, but really holding it as priestesses. So what is the priestesses? And I'm sharing this because that's the embodiment that life has been preparing me for I mean, the last 15 years and more. Since I was 5, 6, 7 years old, I remember having these codes and I was seeing only visions, and I was like, what is this? With curiosity. So our path is always there since we're children, and life prepares us to embody more and more up until we're holding that work. And it's for us to say yes with great humility, curiosity, and pleasure. Because when life force comes into our body and upgrades us, yes, there's shadow pieces, but we can right away have an attitude of pleasure, an attitude of gratitude, because at one point we know that this is the process and that the shadow is temporary and it's only the filter on top of the light that we are here to transmit through these creations.
Yeah, definitely. And I love that you put the emphasis on joy and pleasure, because uh, sometimes transformation comes with some sort of pain, but also the joy of knowing that you're stepping into a new version of you, this new paradigm, this new thing that you're creating. So I think it's good to remember that, when you give birth, after a while, yes, of course, there's a bit of pain, but also the joy of seeing that new creation come to life, and remembering that. And so it's good to dive deep into that sensation also of, and be excited to see that new version. Transformation is also fun. Oh, what am I going to be? What am I going to do next? What is going to be that next creation? So I think it's really good that we also remember that, because sometimes we focus on, life is not as, it's a bit chaotic, but
Yes.
joy is always there. So thanks for bringing that up.
And
And
thank you for bringing it up. It's very juicy, and it's really the key of curiosity, staying curious and being like in love with the path. And I'm birthing myself into a new version. Who am I becoming? And the fire and within the excitement is
mm,
what transforms and what burns the old. Without this fire, it becomes a bit passive, but nobody's going to do anything for us. We need to use this fire to for the last push of the baby on earth, right? It comes. We were speaking about this just before jumping on the call, that when the baby pushes to come on earth, it pushes. Like the body pushes, the fire pushes. We can, and if we decide or choose to control the push, well, it hurts.
mm,
When creation wants to exist, it's just gonna push, right? The
yeah.
contraction hurts, right? Physical contraction hurts when we're both mothers. So it's not like wow, but it can be orgasmic. It's just a way of receiving the body sensation and how intimate we are with our body sensations as we are giving birth to ourselves in a new identity, or to these creations in tangible matter.
Yeah, and maybe you can speak a bit more about that. Like, what's the cost of trying to keep the baby in? Because we know that's not possible in nature, but we kind of, I think we've done it, you and I, sometimes, resisting and just no. But there's a cost. There's a cost to that.
There is a cost. There is a cost, and when we say cost, it brings fear. But I don't want to be infusing fear, but the cost is staying in fear, right?
Mm.
And the cost is staying in fear and not accepting that behind fear there's love. Because when we birth these creations, we have access to more of life, more of abundance, more of love, more of life force energy. So the opposite is true. When we say no and we block creation from pushing us to birth, we give power to the fear, we give power to the resistance, to the old identity, and very fast we will realize, oh, I don't really have so much energy. Oh my gosh, oh, my brain is becoming a bit foggy. Oh, like, so that's the price to pay. It's losing life force energy. And again, the game is not about perfection. We all resist at one point, and the resistance sometimes can take years. There are some things that I've been tapped maybe 7 years ago that are still not fully birthed. It's not because I'm not aware that this wants to be born. It's because it's the process of moving through all the layers of resistances to be carrying this baby. And it's
Mm.
not perfection, I insist, because as a mother, we're never perfect. But if we are being tapped by God and chosen by this spirit to carry this onto the planet, it means we are the perfect mother for this creation. And we really have to 100% trust this, that it's evolving us. So all the stories of the mind, I'm not good enough, am I going to be able to hold that much, am I going to have the support required, am I going to lose people if I start propelling this work into the world or raising my child this way, all the mind beliefs, they're here to actually be seen, embraced, and then let go of, because
Mm.
that's the thought pattern and the tension pattern in your body that is in fear. What if by releasing it you would have access to more life force and more rawness in your life, and therefore more abundance, because as you embody more of your life force energy, your body becomes more magnetic, it becomes more vital, therefore life pours back into you the same way that you pour into life. It all goes together. It all goes together.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you spoke a bit about it, but it's easy to get trapped in the mind and um, have I like that you said, I've been called for this creation 7 years ago, and it's not birthed yet, because sometimes I think that we have something in our mind, like a deadline or a way that we think this creation is also going to be birthed. And it's also good to be reminded of, that's not our job. This is not our job to say, oh, this is going to be, in a year, I'm going to be there and it's going to look like that. Yeah, I think it's really interesting to also be conscious about that and try to avoid the trap of the mind on that path of creation.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yes, it never looks like what we think. This thing that I'm talking about, that it's taking me so long to birth, it's because it's, we say poco a poco in Spanish, like just little bit by little bit, I'm receiving insights on what it could look like. My duty as a creator is to move towards the creation without fully knowing how it's going to look. I receive an insight, I water it, I plant it, I'm like, I show up for it, and I put it into visible form. And I've aborted, per se, this creation at least 3 times in 7 years that I've been, but every time it was serving people. I'm talking about a creation of a program, for example, or a container, but it can be any type of creation. But I'm speaking from the lens of somebody who's offering structures and containers for people to transform. And the important is to keep following the guidance and knowing that we are gonna fall, and that the baby itself, the creation itself will evolve in time, just like our body and who we are as a human being evolves with time. Well, it's gonna be the same thing with creation. And this is a truth per se, but it's for you to prove this truth for yourself, that everything evolves, everything
Mm.
grows. And the fire of the soul will always look at us and will always penetrate us in a way to make us grow. The second that we stagnate, we have chosen to protect with fear. Stagnation does not exist in creation. It's always moving, it's
Yeah.
always changing. And this ease appears when we choose to stagnate, when we block, when we stop the flow of creation and say, no, I'm controlling this. I cannot take it. What happens? The energy reverses back to you, in you. It starts creating tension and tension and tension. The nervous system creates a short circuit, and then there's lack of circulation. And then this is when dis-ease starts appearing. And that's another cost.
Mm. Yeah, and you've been working a lot with the body, the intimacy with the body, and I'm sure people are asking, but how do I know? Like, how do I know if my body is telling me to go or not to go? Or do you have
This
an
is a very,
answer to that?
ah, this is so personal to everybody, right? Everybody, everybody. because all bodies are going to answer in a different way and show truth in a different way. So that's why intimacy with oneself is so important. Getting to know yourself, how your body communicates to you, how your body shows you when it's a yes or when it's a no. And I'm not going to lie, it does require training, it does require intimacy and deep curiosity and deep care about your body, deep uh, desire to get to know your body. Like when if you would have told me 15 years ago, oh, your body, there's a way that your body can move that will right away move into the yes without you even thinking. It goes way faster than the mind, when you just move from your instinct. I wouldn't have known at all what to do, but I decided to go in and to learn. Okay, well, I followed this insight in my body. It was actually a no, it was not a yes. Oh, I followed this that looked like an intuition. Oh my gosh, look at everything that opens up in my life after this. And then, you have a bit of a scientific mind and you use your body as a laboratory and you play in life. You literally play the game of life. You do trials and errors, but you need a curiosity, or else it's because it's not a straight formula. The only key ingredient is intimacy. So be intimate with yourself. Ask open questions to your body. Body, show me. Is this a yes? Is this a no? Body, show me. Is this a powerful decision, or it's something that I'm going to be losing all my life force energy? And you get acquainted to it. And like when we speak about traps, it's because when creation starts pushing us and propelling us into birthing, which is the theme of today, there's two things. One thing is going to be us feeling resistance because it's actually a no. It's actually, no, no, I'm not meant to do this. And so it
Mm.
doesn't really come from creation. It's actually something that's not in line with creation. Therefore, it's a real no. Or a false no, which is I'm so scared to move forward that my resistance makes me think that's my identity. Therefore, my identity chooses it's no. But that's not a real no. That's the fear choosing. So
Mm.
it's the discernment when I'm called by creation. What's saying no and what's saying yes? What's saying no because we're speaking into the resistance. What is actually saying no and being honest with yourself? Okay, I'm saying no now. I know God is pushing me in this direction. I'm saying no now in consciousness with great awareness that I cannot hold it now, but I know I'm still going there.
Mm.
Okay, that's a conscious no. I'm like, my nervous system is shaking so much right now that I'm going to take the little first step, but I'm not going to go into a quantum leap right now. That's being wise also, and that's conscious. Another example would be letting the identity say no. So it's way too much. This is not for me. Therefore, it becomes black and white. You shut down creation. That's when the most life force energy drops. Then you go back into compensations. You're going to notice right away, you're going to go back to old identity that is actually not the proper suit anymore. It's too tight for you. It's like it stinks actually. It's like that it's dense. It's not of the same vibration of the new creation and you're going to feel it. You're going to feel a drop of energy. Um you're going to go to old beliefs. So all of this happens, and again, it's not about perfection, it's just being clear and being aware. Oh wow, look at this, it's been 2 weeks, I'm like in this vortex and it feels old. How come I'm seeing life now like from the lens of my old self? Well, that means that you gave power to the old. That's as simple
Mm.
as this. You gave power to the old. Okay, I gave power to the old. Oh, let me start giving power again to the new. Okay, creation. Oh, you open the door of creation, life force energy starts, you take the first step. You always take the first step. Now, the fire sometimes can be very intense, right? That's why we train. That's why we train so that we can surf the wave and have enough resilience in our nervous system to be penetrated by life and accept the fire as a full body. Like I'm not going to use a raw language, but get yourself banged, like it's it's okay, but practice. Receive the penetration of God, receive the penetration of life force, surrender to it. That's intimacy. There's nothing more intimate than to surrender and to be a submissive of God's power. So I can keep on going with this theme, but discern the the pist like the path of exploration here is notice where your no comes from, and notice if it's coming from a resistance of a belief and of an old self, or if it's actually a true no, that there's not an alignment, that it actually does not turn you on when you put attention to this creation. That's a true no. When it does not turn you on, it means that it's not part of you to carry. It's not you to carry this. If it turns you on and then there's a bit of a freak out and you're like, oh my gosh, it's just too much. I want this, but I just don't know how. Then this is a resistance towards creation.
Yeah. And I love it that you said, yeah, sometimes it's a yes, but the nervous system is not ready for it. And that's why we train. And that's why it's so important to be intimate with your body, because then you are able to make that decision from, um, you've had training in your body saying, okay, some people, they feel it in their neck. Some people, I feel it in my belly. I know when it's right. I know when it's not right. And I'm super attuned to that. And it's really that dance of knowing yourself, of diving into that and saying, oh, okay, and it's a trial and error thing. It's I you said that before, but you try something, you say yes, and then you realign because you say, oh no, I think it was maybe close, but not right on, maybe not the right step. It's always the right step anyway. There's it was the right step when you made it. That's why life is kind of testing us. And sometimes it's just like, oh, are you gonna say yes to that? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes
Yeah.
or no? And there's really, like for me, no really right answers. We always take the right decision with what we have at this moment. But
Exactly.
I think we can accelerate the decision making when we train our body to be more attuned to the process of creation.
Yes, totally. The word attunement is very important, right? Right on point. Being attuned, listening, feeling, and that brings attunement with life current, with the
Mm,
whispers, with everything. And one thing that I want to add is celebrate all steps. We forget to celebrate. I forget to celebrate.
yes.
Every day we take steps.
Yeah.
Every day we go in the body. Every day that we actually lean into our true desires and authentic selves. Like celebrate all the steps, because it's gonna help alchemize any fears faster into love. There's pleasure in all of this, like the path of transformation, the path of healing, the path of all of this sometimes comes with a lot of baggage and a lot of shadow. It can feel heavy, but it's all about the approach and the attitude towards it. Can we take life with joy? Can we take life with pleasure? Because these are frequencies that will accelerate you. The frequencies of doubt, of shame, of anger, of whatever, all of this, of fear, it's denser. On the scale of consciousness, it's actually a denser frequency. So it slows you down. But the
Mm,
second you're like, hey, let me approach life from a lens of pleasure, from a lens of lightness, from a lens of curiosity, from a lens of love and joy, then something moves faster. But can our nervous system handle pleasure? Can our nervous system handle joy? And that's the real thing. And that's also why we train. When we train in the body, we spend time, hours, of being with a sensation that our mind has gotten used to identify as it's painful.
mm,
It's painful. Ouch, my lower back is in so much pain.
mm,
Okay, it's a sensation. Right away, you are accelerating. Okay, can I enjoy it? Can I savor the sensation that, yes, feels, let's say, painful? But if I release all the tags from the mind on the sensation and I stay with the sensation itself, can it actually right away be alchemized into something that's pleasurable or that's to be savored? And like, oh, so total, so intimate with it. And then it moves and it circulates. And that's how we build resilience in our nervous system to be able to hold more pleasure, more of sensation, more of life,
More of
more of
life.
God. Yes, aho. Aho on this note.
Oh,
I love these conversations. Thank you so much, Karine, for bringing your questions and sincere questions. I want to insist how much it's important to have sincerity when we have these conversations, because we want to answer with sincerity, and we can only receive sincere questions, or else we go and we read behind the question. But you're bringing sincere questions, and I value this a lot. Thank you so much. I really believe that what we're bringing to the audience is both juicy and powerful for their transformation and their life. And yes, if you're listening right now, give a thumbs up on the video, share with others. Keep following us on Instagram at Jennifer Akkad. It's my handle. Karine is also on Instagram. If you want to follow her, go and look for her name, Karine Labrosse, on Instagram. And we keep on going. If you want to learn more about the work, send me a direct message. That's the easiest way for now. We are repurposing everything and we are reorganizing. We have a Body Temple 6 months container that just launched, and the doors are going to be open again in some months. So stay tuned. We're going to be opening a wait list soon. But the fastest way is to send an email for now, or a direct message on Instagram, because we're really evolving the structure of this platform. That's what I wanted to share. Aho.
thank you.
Thank you.